Build applications faster.
Continuing to run with our large mission-critical.
Build applications faster.
Continuing to run with our large mission-critical systems that support a lot of the world's payments.
To provide a top-notch quality of service towards our clients.
The relationship with Oracle has been hugely impactful.
Oracle is very hard to beat in terms of price and performance.
They were quite flexible with us to set up an infrastructure that worked for us.
We were just pretty much mesmerized by CPUs, memory, storage.
Seamless connectivity, rapid time to develop, rapid time to market.
Training jobs that took 5 days to run in the past now only take a couple of hours.
It's just enabling us to do more and faster.
We've been able to introduce things like machine learning and AI. It is literally game-changing.
The amount of good and the change that we can produce by giving that tool to our technology opens up totally new product experiences.
If you really want to focus on the important business problems, Oracle is the way for you to go.
Oracle really gave us exactly the product that we needed.
Please welcome to the stage Clay Magouyrk.
Thank you all for coming. It's very good to see everyone here today. Now look, let's be honest with ourselves. For those of us in person, we're on the West Coast, you can't seem to breathe outside. And if you have to choose between listening to me in about an hour and going to get lunch, while I'd like to tell you that I'm confident in my own attractiveness, we know you're going to choose lunch. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to keep this tight. We're going to have a lot of fun. And what I'm going to need from you is that I have several really interesting people coming out here today. When they come out, I need you to show your enthusiasm for them. And in return, I promise to get you out of here on time. So, okay, thank you. Okay. Remember, we're on a time crunch. Okay. We're here today to talk about cloud infrastructure transformation. And the way that I want to start about that is by talking about a different industry that's gone through a lot of transformation of its own. Take a moment to look at this video. When I look at it, I see a very interesting combination of both modern and antiquated. The ship looks very modern. This is actually only recorded in the 1950s. It's not very long ago, a few years before we landed on the moon. What is it about this video that seems so familiar, yet looks so wrong? It's the way that we're loading the cargo. We live in a world today post the intermodal container. This was an idea from a single person that has transformed an entire industry. In some ways, it seems simple. It's an opaque, locking, standardized steel box. You can connect them together kind of like an erector set. But when you take a moment to think about everything that's been enabled by the intermodal container, the fact that over the last 70 years, we've had a 240 times improvement in cargo capacity from less than 100 containers on a ship to more than 24,000 containers today. It also enables you to scale down. The fact that you can take one of those containers off of a ship or off of a rail car and put it onto the back of a truck and deliver it anywhere in the world is incredibly amazing. At the same time, we've also achieved more than a 97% reduction in the cost to transport cargo. Previously, it was about $6 per ton to transport stuff. Now it's less than 16 cents today. Security has been simplified in a variety of ways. First, it kind of seems obvious, you can't see inside this container. Previously, you just had cargo laying around. It was in bags or barrels or crates. Much easier to see what was going on in there. You can't get inside these containers because they have doors and you can lock the doors. And a thing that may not be obvious, but is also equally important, it used to take up to 3 weeks to load and unload these ships. Well, suddenly now, in the span of a few hours, you can do the same work. So the time duration at which the cargo is actually at risk is significantly reduced. So we talk about these nice things, but how does this end up benefiting society? Well, we live in a world where ubiquity has become commonplace. Think about coffee. I'm not a coffee drinker, but there's a very good friend of mine that tells me that she's so into coffee that when she drinks her tea, she gets a shot of espresso inside of it. That's how ubiquitous this fluid and substance has become. It's only possible by the fact that we have this incredibly marvelous, modern transportation system. The same thing applies to choice. If you go back not that long ago, it wasn't common to be able to have an infinite array of choices that you could choose from. Today, there are options that are much better suited to your individual needs. You no longer need to make a poor decision from a few suboptimal choices. To achieve these effects, it requires more than just the idea of the intermodal container. It requires more than you actually going out and creating these containers for you to be able to see these significant benefits. To achieve this, manufacturing and warehousing had to be reimagined. Suddenly, you need new transportation vehicles. You needed cargo airplanes, new types of trucks to cart it around. Rail networks and rail yards had to be adapted, and our road network had to be upgraded to accommodate larger vehicles that weighed a lot more. The way in which people work is also significantly changed. Previously, you spent most of your time loading and unloading things from ships or rail cars or trucks very manually. And today, you instead have highly skilled operators that are operating incredibly capital-intensive equipment to be able to do the same job. So, all of this transformation required significant investments in energy, in capital, as well as across time. It didn't happen over a few years, it took decades. Container ports had to be made deeper and larger to support these container ships. You also required significantly more staging space for loading and unloading these containers. Of the 4,700 ports around the world today, 20% of those ports only unload and load containers. There are more than 45,000 airports around the world today, about 20 times as many as we had in 1940. Cargo airplanes allow you to have low latency access from almost any location to any other location around the world. The rail network has also expanded significantly, with today us having more than 1.3 million kilometers of railways. Rail is still critically important because it offers the lowest cost land transport available. And then the roads, they operate as that last mile of our global delivery network. This is all made possible by the fact that we have semi-trucks that can take containers from a ship or a plane or a rail car and deliver that container exactly where it needs to be. And remember, throughout this journey, that same container with the same security and the same efficiency moves seamlessly from one type of transport to another. So, we're a few minutes in, and I haven't used any of the AI bingo words you were expecting. I haven't actually talked about computers at all. For those of you that were around then, it's also not 2013, and I'm not here to try to analogize between Linux and Docker containers and how you should deploy your software. The reason that I'm here talking to you about the transportation industry is because if you can understand what it looks like for an industry to be truly transformed, we can recognize how early on we are in our transformation of the cloud industry. Today, the cloud has an amazing vision. But if you think about it, most cloud providers have a relatively few number of regions. It's not in many locations. The cloud cannot efficiently scale down. Security is becoming more and more difficult, and these large public cloud regions, these mega regions, are becoming bigger attack vectors around the world. So, for any of you that have ever worked behind the scenes, when you take a look behind the way clouds work, building and operating the cloud actually has very few of the benefits of being able to run on the cloud. Scaling down is impossible, and scaling out is extremely difficult. The cloud is not ubiquitous, and customers don't actually have a lot of choice. The good thing is that we're still very early in our cloud transformation, and we just need to continue this transformation to achieve these same benefits. With Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, we are working every day to ensure that our cloud is available where you need it, and you have choice in how you procure it and who you consume it through. That's the purpose of the rest of our conversation today, is to explain to you how we're continuing to push forward with that transformation in the cloud. So, our first responsibility is to have public cloud regions everywhere. Today, we have the largest number of live and planned regions of any cloud provider, with 59 planned and live, and we're continuing to grow more and more regions every year. So, to kind of illustrate why this is so important about having public cloud regions where they need to be, I want to talk about another industry and bring up a very important customer and partner of ours. That industry that's going through significant change is the animation industry. If you think about how animation is done from 100 years ago to now, technology has changed every aspect of how we work. And to be able to use the cloud, fundamentally, animators need the cloud to be everywhere, wherever the artists are. So up next, I'd like to talk to one of our good friends at Skydance Animation.
Here we go.
These are extraordinary individuals.
You have our attention.
You're part of something bigger now. That is what being part of a crew is all about.
Good, right?
So what happens now?
We get to work.
Please welcome to the stage Gregory Brenton.
Hey, Greg. Hey, thanks for coming in. Good to see you. You look better than I was expecting. All right. So just so you all understand here, what Greg does is way cooler than what I do in cloud infrastructure, which is why he's here. It's through osmosis. I think I became at least twice as cool as I was before. Thank you for coming, Greg.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So Skydance is all about pushing the boundaries of what's possible in animation. Can you share a little bit with us about what you're doing to level up the quality of your productions and what this means for your audiences and the industry as a whole?
Yeah, for us, we need to make technology invisible to our artists. They're skilled in their craft, how to animate, how to tell stories, how to make amazing films. And so for us, the most important thing is to take technology out from their day-to-day environment, out of their working requirements. We do this with a lot of hard work from our technologists to make it invisible, but connecting our 3 studios, we have one in Madrid, one in Stamford, Connecticut, one in Los Angeles. We have to connect those teams together, allow them to collaborate, allow them to share content, give each other feedback, and move that creative process along every day. And as much as possible, we need to keep the technology out of where we are. The big thing for us in compute and where we're taking advantage of OCI is the back part of the film, we have to render it. We have to take these working models, these proxies, these animated characters, and turn them into the beautiful pictures that you see on the silver screen when we're all done. To do that, we use a lot of high-performance compute. And for us, pushing that creative storytelling to as late as possible in the process, those decisions, the ability to burst up in our compute to be able to deliver those final films, that's the big advantage of OCI and how we use that tech to keep the story moving. We just finished our second film called Spellbound. That one was rendered in OCI, so we use the compute resources to get this film done. And I actually have a new preview of the film that I can show if anybody wants to see that.
Yeah. Let's take a look.
All right.
Oh, they're here! Be cool. Huh?
Excellent service, Lawrence. I'm giving you 5 stars.
You must be Princess Alien.
That's me!
So you're having some trouble with your parents?
Yeah, they went into the dark forest, and when they came back, they were a little different.
How different?
Well...
Oh, wow, you ain't kidding.
Her parents are monsters.
Wow. I thought you were just being dramatic.
Why would I do that?
Because you're a teenager.
Mom!
Wow.
Monsters? Ready the battalion!
Stop! This is your king and queen!
That's the king and queen?
For the safety of the kingdom, they will be sent to the far reaches of the world.
If they don't change back soon, they'll be monsters forever.
We have have to get them out of here. Mom, Dad, we're going to break the spell. Come on, let's go. We're gonna make it together. Put down your weapons.
Princess?
I said drop them. Ugh. Guess we gotta be a bit more specific. Bad king, bad queen. Hey!
Chew away, sire.
Dad, put him down.
Greg, I'll be honest with you. I find myself, like I see that, and you tell me that all of that, as well as the entire film, was rendered on OCI, and I sometimes kind of go, I don't think that's true. It's like, but I remember when we didn't have any of this stuff. So it's really encouraging to see the great stuff that you've been able to achieve with this technology. So how is the cloud fundamentally changing your strategy for how you can be more creative?
So believe it or not, when these films get started, they're actually pretty crappy. And the stories that we start with are pretty rough. And the process, unlike live action filmmaking, is we iterate on these, on the script. We iterate on the story, we iterate on the sequences, we piece this together, and then we take a look at it. We screen it probably 10 times through the life of the show. These films take about 3 to 5 years total to complete, with the last 2 years being a big ramp up in production. Each time we have a screening, we get notes, we get feedback about where we need to improve. And the ability to do that, the ability to respond to those creative changes, that's the key to being able to make a great film. What you saw here, this one's really good. Spellbound is going to be a really great film. A little while ago, Spellbound was a little different than that. So we have to be able to respond with the technology to be able to scale up, to burst into the cloud, to put 10 times more technology resources than we planned for against these films to make it successful. I never want technology to be the reason we can't do something. We can't address a creative note or a change in, say, even a character design.
All right, Greg, last question. In your mind, what does the digital animation of the studio, of the future look like?
For us, it's a studio entirely in the cloud. We're in the middle of a transition right now between our co-located data centers, our on-prem data centers, and a mixture of OCI for cloud resources. Our goal by the end of next year is to be entirely in the cloud. We need that global reach. We need to shrink our studio into something that takes 3 different time zones and 3 different locations and makes it feel like we're all in the same room. That studio in the cloud is our big target. That makes us the largest animation studio that's done something like this. If all goes well, by the end of next year, we'll be the first to do this. It gives us that flexibility when schedules change or when shows need a little bit more love before they're ready to go in the can. So, yeah. That's the future for us, studio in the cloud.
Hey, we're very excited to go on that journey with you. Thank you, Greg, for coming and sharing this with us today. We really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you.
You just heard how OCI supports customers with low latency and high scale requirements, and how bringing the public cloud to them can really make a difference. Now what I want to do is take a moment about talk about how OCI is transforming the cloud industry by offering different scale down options to give you the flexibility that you need.
Introducing Dedicated Region 25. The cloud is small as 3 racks. We've departed from the era of custom coach-built solutions. This is the era of standardized modularity, where the cloud comes off an assembly line. This means you get a fully managed solution with all the services and flexibility to scale. It's easier to order with a few simple inputs. And since it's just coming off the shelf, it's easier to get into your hands. Easier to locate because the racks don't have to be side by side. Easier to install with multiple power options. We can have it delivered to you in just a few weeks. Standardization also means it's easier to network with pre-wired cables and an assistant to verify everything's good to go. Easier to configure. And easier to scale with your needs, all the way up to a full-sized cloud region. We've re-engineered the cloud from the inside out, bringing you flexibility and scalability like never before. OCI Dedicated Region 25. Your cloud is here.
Thank you. Well, look, so I will say, though, this is not actually running any of your workloads. So you don't have to worry about our choices here today impacting anything that's any actual live customer workloads. Look, this is something that I've been working on for a very long time. The fact that we can fit an entire cloud region into this space is something that if you haven't been in the industry, if you don't, it may not seem that awesome. This is an incredible achievement, and I'm very proud of everybody on our team at Oracle who's worked on this. Dedicated region is really the evolution of a simple idea that we should be able to scale down as well as able to scale up. Sometimes people have a lack of understanding about why that's so important. So what I wanted to take some time today is to explain both why it's technically hard and what we've been working on to make it possible, as well as the value of once you've done that hard work, how does this actually enable new use cases that you didn't think about before? So first, let's talk a little bit about what we did to optimize our servers, the performance and capacity. So first thing, it's not just an optimization problem for space, it's also for power. We had to focus on increasing the amount of cores that we can provide, the memory capacity, increasing our network bandwidth, as well as our storage capacity. Ultimately, we needed extremely efficient servers. And so we did that and built it into a complete converged platform, such that all of our capacity can run on the same unified hardware platform regardless of which service it is. Right. Now, we also did a lot of work to improve the security of our racks. So normally in the cloud, what we do is we have a secure area, whether it's a secure cage or a secure data hall, and our racks go in there. What we've done now is we've shrunk that security perimeter down to the scale of each rack. Each rack locks. We have live telemetry that shows when anything is being done or not done to the rack. And we've also controlled the access, both front and back, with how you can plug cables in. Ultimately, what this means is that everything that leaves the rack is secure. And it ends up being that with the combination of this and what we're doing on the network side, the fact that we have a new scaled-down network architecture, the fact that the network architecture within the rack is fully redundant, and that all the traffic that leaves the rack is fully encrypted. When you combine those things together, the locking rack and the network changes, it enables us to place these racks anywhere where you have space and power. We don't have to put them together and then secure the perimeter. They're already pre-secured within each rack. So I've talked a lot about scaling down, but customers are not happy if we can scale down the solution, but then you also don't have a way to expand it. So the fact is that start with 3 racks, it can expand up to 6, but once you decide that you need more than that 6 rack capacity, we have an easy option for you. You just add on a medium expansion kit. This allows that region to scale up to 64 racks. And then, if for some reason you've gotten to a place where 64 racks is not enough capacity for you, we have a larger expansion kit. What that does is it scales the region to the same network design and overall architecture we use for our public cloud regions, which means that you can now support thousands of racks in a single deployment. The last thing I want to talk about is the significant investments that we made in the software stack to support this new version of Dedicated Region. First, we've been working for years on our fully automated software installer. You probably take for granted the fact that most of the programs that you use have an easy way to install and uninstall them. Honestly, that's not the way that distributed systems typically work, and it's definitely not how cloud regions have been built across any of our competitors or throughout time. Instead, we developed an entirely new way to deploy and manage resources across these cloud regions. We also made the decision early on to make sure that all of our services are available everywhere. By doing so, it supports a unified security model and ensures that we don't have any dependency mismatches. What that means is that customers receive every service they need everywhere all the time. And the last thing that we do is we have a focus on ensuring that our individual services can scale down. And that's not something that we do once and forget it. Every year, we're constantly working to improve, such as the minimum footprint for a service requires fewer cores, less memory, and less disk space. So, big takeaways here. Dedicated region is a long-term investment for us. To achieve a goal of putting the entire cloud in 3 racks, we had to update all elements of the system: the compute, the network, storage, and every part of the software stack. The ability to scale the footprint down allows us to deliver cloud in locations that were not previously possible. At Oracle, we are continually committed to ensuring that we offer our full cloud capabilities regardless of the size of the region. And the fact that we have this flexible sizing actually means that it's really easy to use dedicated region. So, distributed cloud is continuing to accelerate. And I talked before about the number of our public cloud regions. But when we add up all of the dedicated regions and our Alloy regions, we're quickly approaching the same number of those that we do for our public cloud. A mature industry fundamentally gives customers choice. And where we're at in the cloud today, we're not there. We're still too mature. Alloy is our cloud offering that allows others to become cloud providers themselves, and then to extend our cloud capabilities with their technology. Fundamentally, choice gives customers better products over time. To talk more about Alloy and dedicated region and how it's transforming their business, let's hear some of the latest innovations from Fujitsu.
Fujitsu aims high. As the sustainability transformation partner of choice for customers from diverse industries in over 100 countries, its 124,000 employees work to resolve the greatest challenges facing humanity, and its position as the #1 IT service provider in Japan and one of the most innovative companies in the world ensures the best results. Fujitsu and Oracle have been partners for over 40 years. This strong partnership has supported customer transformation. Please welcome to the stage, Kazushi Koga.
Thank you for coming, Koga-san.
Hi.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
It's very good to see you.
Yep.
So, to start, can you tell us about Fujitsu's strategy and how Alloy fits in it?
First of all, thank you very much for giving us this great opportunity. Fujitsu's purpose is to make the world more sustainable by building trust in society through innovation. To achieve this purpose, Fujitsu currently focuses on 2 key things: Fujitsu Uvance and technology. Fujitsu Uvance is our new business model, which solves social issues across industries globally. Technology is at the heart of a sustainable transformation. We focus on 5 key technologies: AI, computing, network, data security, and converging technologies. For example, we commercialized Japan's first quantum computer and provided the fastest supercomputer, Fugaku, which brings us unique Japanese large language models. Under these 2 pillars of Uvance and technology, our 124,000 employees are working toward a sustainable world. Oracle Alloy will be an ideal platform for Uvance because OCI's full functions are useful for solving social issues while meeting customers' demand of sovereignty, including AI sovereignty.
So thank you for sharing that. I know across Fujitsu you serve a huge diversity of industries and use cases. What is it about these workloads that makes them so demanding and so complicated?
Good question. So as you mentioned, Fujitsu is supporting many mission-critical systems globally, including Tokyo Stock Exchange. Many of these customers still struggling to move to hyperscaler due to they need to have achieve three things simultaneously: to utilize the latest cloud technology, to keep operational transparency, to control their data. For example, a huge retail customers fail to move to hyperscaler and back to Fujitsu's own cloud because they need to control the cloud. Fujitsu cloud strategy is a hybrid IT combined with an on-premise environment and multi-cloud capability, such as Azure, AWS, and Fujitsu's cloud. However, hyperscalers don't provide operational transparency and data control. Fujitsu's own cloud does provide these, but limited functions. To solve these issues, finally this year, Fujitsu has announced Fujitsu Sovereign Cloud powered by Oracle Alloy, which will be launched next April. Thank you. Fujitsu Sovereign Cloud provides more than 100 of OCI services, including generative AI, while keeping operational transparency and controlling data. Because this cloud is run from a Fujitsu data center, and Fujitsu manages this sovereign cloud. This is also because Oracle Alloy is OCI with full functionality, but a smaller, independent architecture that is isolated from a public cloud. In addition to existing function, the Oracle and Fujitsu team discussed for 6 months and 106 items specific for Japanese sovereign requirement and decided to implement. Include this Fujitsu Sovereign Cloud will be supported by Oracle employees who have a Japanese nationality and who live in Japan. Oracle Alloy is the only solution that provides this sovereignty and functionality. Oracle's strong support makes this cloud achieve full compliance with the needs of a Japanese sovereign cloud, which covers government agencies and 50 fundamental industries such as the utilities, transportation, and financial companies, designated from the Economic Security Promotion Act of Japan. This is the embodiment of your vision of a distribution cloud with the Oracle Alloy that meets the needs of each region. We really appreciate your support and Oracle's collaboration.
Well, the partnership has been incredible so far. I've really enjoyed working with you and your team. That's true for everyone here at Oracle. Thank you very much. What are you most excited about in terms of the future of Fujitsu?
Well, what excites me most is utilizing this Fujitsu Sovereign Cloud to achieve a sustainable society globally with accelerating customers' cloud journey, not only in Japan, as we are planning to deploy Fujitsu Sovereign Cloud globally. Each country has unique market demands. Therefore, we need to have a various size of a platform, as you mentioned before, utilizing Oracle Alloy. Finally, as technology, Fujitsu is a technology company, which aims to contribute high-performance computing and AI for OCI, such as our newly developed 2-nanometer ARM-based processor, software-defined liquid cooling systems. Both are coming from world's first computer, Fugaku, and our experience of 7,000 AI projects. These will surely contribute to Oracle. Thank you for your wonderful partnership.
No, thank you, Kogo-san. It's been incredible working with you so far, and I'm very excited for us to launch this in April and see where it goes.
Yes. I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you.
So, as we heard from Koga-san, dedicated region and alloy are one way for customers to receive more choices. Clouds working together is another way to enable that same choice. So I'm going to take a moment and talk about our history of multi-cloud. So we've been on this multi-cloud journey at Oracle for more than 5 years now. It started with our relationship with Microsoft, where we created the Oracle and Azure Interconnect. We then, over a year ago, launched Oracle Database at Azure, where we took our highly differentiated database services and made them very easy to use within Azure by integrating them into the console, integrating them into the procurement experience, et cetera. Then last quarter, we announced a great new partnership with Google, where we launched many interconnect regions, as well as the same Oracle database at Google Cloud, which, as of today, is now live in 4 regions around the world. And then you might have heard earlier this week where we announced that we have a new partnership with Amazon Web Services in which we're going to do Oracle Database at AWS. We continue to grow very quickly in our multi-cloud world, with more than 50 multi-cloud regions live or planned. When I talk to customers, the demand is extremely high, and they're very excited that cloud providers are finally working together to solve their problems. So next up, I'm excited to sit down with my friend Amit from Google to talk more about our new partnership.
Oracle and Google Cloud have partnered to enable Oracle Cloud infrastructure to be deployed directly in Google Cloud data centers, allowing Oracle databases and applications to be combined with leading Google Cloud services like Vertex AI for a transformative multi-cloud experience. Please welcome to the stage Amit Zavery.
Hey, Clay, good to see you.
It's good to see you. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, of course.
So, Amit, we've been busy.
Yes.
We now have 4 cloud regions live. Since we launched this partnership in June, what have you been hearing from customers?
First, thank you for having me here, and congratulations on another successful CloudWorld. I think the partnership which we did a few months ago when we announced it, have been great to work with your engineering teams between our side and your engineering group. And the progress we made, I think customers are really appreciating it, right? So the customers we've been speaking to, one, they really care about multi-cloud. They'd have investments in Oracle database, Oracle applications. They want to figure out where they want to run some of those things, or they want to modernize many of those technologies, and they want to partner with other cloud providers like us. So we have a lot of joint common customers we've been working with very closely, like Uber, be it the work with the CME and others. They are really keen on making sure a lot of these technologies can be available in a multi-cloud environment. They can innovate using a lot of the Gen AI capabilities. They can do analytics workloads on top of the data which is coming from Oracle database, Oracle applications, and build the next generation applications as well. So a lot of interesting conversations, a lot of excitement there.
Yeah, we're hearing very similar things. It's exciting to see all of the possibilities. So between the interconnect as well as Oracle database at Google Cloud, what do you see as the most exciting possibilities for customers? What does it really enable them to do?
Yeah, I think a few things, right? One, given that now we have Oracle's database running inside Google Cloud data centers, as well as we've been able to now have a common management plane, right? So the seamlessness where we used to have friction where you had to manage things differently, now one common tool makes it very easy. Same commercial structure, so if they've paid for Oracle database before, Oracle applications before, they can bring that and make it run with Google Cloud technologies. It's also very good for them. Similarly, if they have commit structure with Google, they can use those commits with the various things they might want to use from Oracle as well. So I think the possibilities are endless in terms of what you can do commercially and technically. New applications you can build. We have Vertex AI as a foundational piece for customers to build Gen AI applications. So if they want to now take the data from database from Oracle, which is pretty common for many of the enterprise systems, and they want to be able to modernize or do some data analysis on top of that, or be able to add a lot of agents-based interface, they can do that very easily now going forward. The management plane becomes simple. The things are much more seamless going forward as well, so that's a great addition for them as well.
Yeah, great to hear. So look, to kind of summarize at the end, we've got, I think it's 12 or so interconnect regions. We've got 4 Oracle database at Google Cloud reaches live, and we have many more coming soon. What should customers do to go about getting started?
So I think one of the things is that many more regions are coming. We should be probably tripling by end of this year. Right. So I think the work which we're doing together is definitely great. The one thing which we've seen also now when we talk to customers, specifically around the data analytics. Right? So BigQuery, for example, is heavily used by many Google Cloud customers. And given that they have analytics platform on top of that with Looker and others, they could not easily take the data out of Oracle database and make that part of the analytics platform. So that barrier going away, are able to now kind of take this information, do a lot more insights, and really have a seamless experience is something which we're going to see continuously now.
Yeah, look, the partnership so far has been incredible. I completely agree with you. The engineering teams are working very well together. I'm impressed by the speed at which we're able to roll these things out and the quality of the product that we've been using. I've been using it myself. It's actually quite impressive. Thank you for coming here today.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you for the partnership.
No, thank you, Clay.
It's really cool to hear all the different choices that customers are receiving, whether it be from Fujitsu, whether it be from Google Cloud. I want to talk about another industry that has been undergoing significant transformation. The way in which we all get around is very different than the way it was not that long ago. The technology to enable this transformation in personal transportation requires a lot of scale, as the problems that we're trying to solve are fundamentally global in nature. So to talk more about that, I'm actually going to give the stage over to a very good friend of mine who's going to share some more about what's going on with them at Uber.
We all know Uber today for our rides, food, easier connectivity and movement. But the company was originally founded in 2010 to solve a much simpler problem, providing access to transportation at the touch of a button. Now, 14 years and more than 50 billion trips later, Uber is a platform that continues solving more problems around getting us closer to where we want to be, changing how people, food and things move through cities, and opening the world to new possibilities. And still, at the touch of a button. Please welcome to the stage Kamran Zavery.
Hello. Last year on this stage, our CEO, Dara Khosrowshahi, shared that profitable growth is a top priority for us. Technology is a huge factor in powering that growth with seamless experiences for our riders, eaters, and drivers. Today, our tech empowers 14 million predictions per second and 1 million trips per hour. That's a massive scale. So, as you all know, the best tech stories stem from balancing scale and efficiency. This is about powering a sustainable growth while controlling costs and not letting costs become a barrier to growth. This is the second year of our partnership with OCI, and basically it's very fair to say that out of every 10 trips that Uber serves for our customers, many of you here, a few of them actually are powered by Oracle and OCI Cloud, and that's targeted to be doubled next year. This partnership has proved that everything is possible, especially when we talk about efficient, scalable growth. This is not just what's important for the partnership, but also we never let technology become a barrier to seamless experiences. OCI provides a lot of great features for us, such as Ampere ARM-based systems, moving data across regions, and these are key factors to making those seamless experiences happen. The can-do spirit tops it all. Basically, every time we want to do something that seems very impossible, our friends at Oracle, Clay definitely himself, makes it possible for us, and we are very grateful for that. It's been a great journey so far, and we are looking forward to do more later. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
AI is influencing every aspect of our lives. Training these AI models requires the largest and highest performance GPU clusters. Creating and operating the largest GPU clusters is extremely difficult. It requires research and development in GPU hardware, networking, storage, and data center power and cooling. OCI Superclusters deliver the highest performance, largest GPU clusters in the cloud to hundreds of customers today. Our newest superclusters support more than 131,000 GPUs, all working together to train and deliver the latest in AI capabilities. OCI Superclusters combine advancements in liquid cooling, power generation, RDMA networks, and file storage services to support the most demanding AI workloads.
While I was back there, I was able to get a time check. We're still on track. For those of you that were worried, I promise we might even end early. So don't get too excited. We've had immense needs for compute capacity and storage capacity for a long time. Think about different workloads like search or social media or high performance computing. But there are different requirements for these AI training workloads. And the different requirements in the name of supercluster, it's the clustering. Clusters require everything to work together on the problem at the same time. That requires things to be physically close to each other. It also requires extremely low latency and high bandwidth access to all components of that workload. Those requirements create downstream needs that then flow through every aspect of the infrastructure. You have to rethink your networking, your power generation, your cooling, how you do hardware design, as well as your overall availability plans. So I'm going to spend some time now to walk you through some of the changes that we're having to do at the infrastructure level to support the world's largest GPU clusters. So take a minute to look at the numbers on this slide. I find it hard to grasp, and I spend a lot of my time thinking about networking. So for those of you who don't know what a quadrillion is, a quadrillion is 1,000 trillion. So inside one of these networks, there are 300 quadrillion packets per second that can be sent, and with an acceptable drop rate of 0. One of these networks is not just a little bit harder than a small network to create, it's exponentially more difficult. We would only do something like this for a technology that is valuable as AI. Every single piece of this cluster has to be working together simultaneously, or else the workload fails to function. GPUs are driving a significant shift in how data centers are cooled. Until recently, a typical rack would be on the order of 10 to 20 kilowatts. It's air-cooled, fans blow hot air out of the server, it goes into the data center, that all gets blown outside, gets cooled, comes back in as cold air. Now, you have GPUs where each individual GPU is 1,000 watts or more. Suddenly, you can't cool that with air. You have to have liquid that goes direct to the chip. Suddenly, you have dense racks where the rack itself might have so many GPUs that the power envelope is no longer 10 to 20 kilowatts. You're talking 70, 100, or 120 kilowatts. That means now that you not only have to get more cooling liquid into the data center, you have to get it all the way to the chips inside each rack. What a data center looks like is also changing. Think about this. You need far less space and a lot more power. Data centers for AI are smaller, they require both air and liquid cooling, and they have a higher power density than even the most state-of-the-art data centers we were building for non-AI workloads recently. Customers choose OCI for their AI clusters because of our relentless focus on performance, availability, security, and best-in-class economics. So now let's take a moment to look at some of these things that these clusters can produce when you get it all right. Grok 2 is xAI's frontier language model with chat, coding, and reasoning capabilities. Grok 2 is multimodal and reasons over human language, images, and generates code. In this demo, we are using Grok 2 image understanding to explain details of the first image. Then text generation is used to generate a packing list. And finally, we use image understanding and text generation to summarize what is shown on our boarding pass to Mars. All of this capability was trained and created on OCI infrastructure. Transformation takes time. Often, transformation takes much longer than we like, but thankfully it's happening even when you aren't watching. Back to the beginning when I talked about the transportation and logistics industry, the changes that were required across all the different aspects, whether it be from containers to shipping to railways to all of that took decades to accomplish. It's still very early in the transformation of cloud infrastructure. Many of the benefits that we can achieve are still yet to be realized. However, through constant innovation, from the smallest dedicated region to the largest superclusters, at OCI, we're bringing cloud ubiquity and choice to customers all around the world. We are still very early. You heard Koga-san talk about the new sovereign Fujitsu cloud. You can hear Greg from Skydance talk about the transformation that we're making across the animation industry by having a large number of regions very close to things like artists. I want everyone here to walk away with an understanding that the cloud has a lot of benefits, and we've got to fundamentally transform how the cloud is built, operated, scaled, delivered, so that all customers can take advantage of that. Thank you very much.
We hope you've enjoyed this morning's program. Please join us here this afternoon at 2 p.m. for the industry's keynote.